Hi Morlins, and welcome back to Story Time. I'm going to read over the next couple of days a book called The Dragonsitter, which I know I've read with some of you. It's one of my favourite stories. I find it really clever that the whole story is told through emails. So I'm going to read half the book today and half the book tomorrow. So I really hope you enjoy it. The Dragonsitter by John Lacey. So at the top of each email, they have who the email's from, who it's to, the date it was written, the subject, which is kind of like the title of the email, and attachments. So that will be some sort of photo or file that's been attached to the email. So I'll read that a little bit first, and then I'll read each of the emails. Okay, and this here is our main character. He is called Edward. So first email. From Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date Sunday the 31st of July. Subject urgent. Attachments the dragon. Dear Uncle Morton, you better get on a plane right now and come back here. Your dragon has eaten Jemima. Emily loved that rabbit. I know what you're thinking, Uncle Morton. We promised to look after your dragon for a whole week. I know we did, but you never said he'd be like this. Emily's in her bedroom now, crying so loudly the whole street must be able to hear. Your dragon's sitting on the sofa, licking his claws, looking very pleased with himself. If you don't come and collect him, Mum is going to phone the zoo. She says she doesn't know what else to do. I don't want the dragon to live behind bars. I bet you don't either. But I can't stop Mum. So please come and fetch him. Oh, I better go now. I can smell burning. Eddie. From Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date Sunday the 31st of July. Subject, your dragon. Attachments, poo shoes. Dear Uncle Morton, I'm sorry for getting so cross when I wrote to you earlier, but your dragon really is quite irritating. I hope you haven't changed your flight. If you have, you can change it back again. I have persuaded Mum to give your dragon another chance. Luckily, she didn't see him chasing Mr. Kapowski's cat out of the garden. Uncle I do wish you'd told us a bit more about your dragon. You just handed him over and said he'd be fine and got back in your taxi to the airport. You didn't even tell us his name. And some instructions would have been helpful. Mum and I don't know anything about dragons. Emily says she does, but she's lying. She's only 5. She doesn't know anything about anything. For instance, what does he eat? We looked for help on the internet, but there was nothing useful. One site said dragons eat only coal. Another said they prefer damsels in distress. When I told Mum, she said, then I'd better all look out, hadn't I? But your dragon doesn't seem so fussy. He eats just about anything. Rabbits, of course, and cold spaghetti, and sardines, and baked beans, and olives, and apples, and whatever else we offer him. Mum went back to the supermarket yesterday, but she's got to go again today. Usually one shop lasts us a whole week. Also, you could have warned us about his poo. It smells awful. Mum says even little puppies are trained to go to the loo outside, and this dragon looks quite old. So why is he pooing on the carpet in her bedroom? Uh-oh, Mum wouldn't be happy, would she? But I can see why you like him. When he's being sweet, he really is very sweet. He has a nice expression, doesn't he? And I like the funny snoring noise he makes when he's asleep. Are you having a lovely time on the beach? Is the sun shining? Are you doing lots of swimming? It's raining here. Love from your favourite nephew, Eddie. P.S. The smell of burning was the curtains. I put out the fire with a saucepan full of water. Luckily it had dried by the time Mum saw them. Email number 3. From Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date, Monday the 1st of August, to the next day. Subject, the fridge. Attachment, the hole. That's a little sneak preview there. Dear Uncle Morton, I wish I could say things were better with the dragon today, but actually they're worse. This morning we came downstairs for breakfast and found he had made a hole in the door of the fridge. I don't know why he couldn't just open it like everyone else. He drank all the milk and ate yesterday's leftover cauliflower cheese. Mum was furious. I had to beg her to give him one more chance. I've already given him one last chance, she said. Why should I give him another? I promised to help clear up any more of his mess. I think that was what changed her mind. I'm hoping he'll go in the garden from now on. Mum is keeping a bill for you. It's now 2 supermarket shops and a new fridge. She says she'll charge you for the carpet too if she can't get the stains out. I sent you 2 emails yesterday. Didn't you get either of them? Eddie. Next email. Again from Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date, Monday the 1st of August. Subject, your dragon. Again. Attachment, poo close up. Ooh. This one doesn't even say to Uncle Morton, look. You might have to change your flights after all, Uncle M. Your dragon's done another poo in the house. This time, he couldn't get into Mum's room because she'd been keeping her door shut, so he did it on the landing right outside. I scrubbed it with bleach, but there's still a stain on the carpet. I just hope Mum won't see it. If she does, she'll ring the zoo right away. I know she will. E. From Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date, Tuesday the 2nd of August. Subject, tethers. Attachments, me putting out fire. Dear Uncle Morton, what's a tether? I don't know and Mum won't tell me, but she's at the end of hers. That's what she says anyway. It was the curtains that did it. Mum saw them last night. She was furious. I managed to calm her down. I said I'd pay for new ones out of my pocket money. I don't actually have any pocket money, but I promised to start saving immediately. Also, I pointed out the hole was really quite small. Mum gave a big sigh, shrugged her shoulders, and stood on a chair and turned the curtains round so you could hardly see the hole. Well, not unless you were looking for it anyway. And why would anyone get down on the floor and search for holes at the edge of a curtain? Then, this morning, the dragon breathed all over them again. It was really quite dramatic. The whole room filled with smoke. While I was running backwards and forwards with a saucepan full of water 6 times, your dragon just sat on the sofa. I mean, I wasn't expecting an apology, but he could have at least looked embarrassed. Also, he knows he's not allowed on the sofa. This is my 5th email to you, Uncle M, and you haven't replied to one of them. I know you're on holiday, but even so, could you please reply ASAP? Even if you can't come and collect your dragon, some tips on looking after him would be very much appreciated. Edward. P.S. If you don't know what ASAP means, it means as soon as possible. P.P.S. Your bill is now 3 supermarket shops, 2 curtains, 1 fridge, 1 rabbit, 1 new carpet. Mum saw the stain. From Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date, Tuesday the 2nd of August. Subject, where are you? Attachment, Mum on the rampage. Dear Uncle Morton, Mum rang your hotel. They said you never arrived. They said you cancelled your reservation and they gave your room to someone else. So where are you? Mum said you've been lying to us. She said you've always told lies, even when you were a boy, and she was stupid to think you might have changed. I don't know what to say, Uncle Morton. I was sure you hadn't lied to us. I don't believe you're a liar. But if you're not staying at the Hotel Splendide, why Why did you give us their number? Where are you staying? I told Mum anything might have happened. Maybe you banged your head and you don't know who you are. Maybe you're in hospital covered in bandages and no one knows who to call. Maybe you've been kidnapped. You're always talking about your enemies. Do you need us to pay a ransom? I hope not, because your bill with Mum is really quite enormous. Mum doesn't think you've been kidnapped or bumped your head. She says you're just a selfish pig and always have been. And once you've collected your dragon, she never wants to see you again. I'm sure she didn't mean it, Uncle Em. Little sisters are always saying stuff like that. Emily does it too. The next day, she's forgotten what she's even said. Mum's probably just the same. Even so, I think you should call her ASAP, Eddie. And there's Mum looking pretty mad. From Edward Smith Pickle. So Uncle Morton still hasn't replied. To Morton Pickle. Date Tuesday the 2nd of August. Subject the zoo. Dear Uncle Morton, Mum is about to ring the zoo. She's going to ask them to take the dragon away. I tried to persuade her not to, but she said it was the dragon or her. I said the zoo probably wouldn't want her. She said I should be careful because I was treading on thin ice. I don't know what she meant, but I didn't want to ask. She had that expression on her face. Do you know the one I mean? The one that says, "You better keep out of my way." So I have. E. From Edward Smith Pickle. To Morton Pickle. Same day, Tuesday 2nd of August. Subject, don't worry. Attachments, Mum and the dragon. Dear Uncle Morton, the zoo aren't coming. They thought Mum was joking. When they realised she was serious, then they thought she was crazy. Finally, they put the phone down. So then she rang the RSPCA, but they didn't believe her either. They said there's no such thing as dragons. Mum said, "Come here if you want to see one." They put the phone down too. Now Mum doesn't know what to do. She's threatening to kick the dragon out on the streets. I said she couldn't just leave a poor defenceless dragon out in the middle of the road where anything might happen to it. "I've got to do something," she had said, "or I really will go crazy. What if he bites the neighbours? What if he eats one of the twins?" I mean, it's true. He could easily pull them out of their pram. They live opposite and they're only 8 months old. With teeth like his, he could gobble them up in a moment. I know you said he'd never harm another living creature. But that wasn't true, was it? What about Jemima? Uncle Em, I must have written you 10 messages by now. Could you please write back? Eddie. I'm going to read one more email in this video. So, from Edward Smith Pickle to Morton Pickle. Date, Wednesday the 3rd of August. Subject, Maud. Attachments, cat attack. Mum chatting. Dear Uncle Morton, you're not going to believe what's happened now. The dragon just attacked Mr. Capaldi's cats again. This time the garden is full of fur and the petunias have gone up in smoke. I mean, it was their own fault, I suppose, because they know they're not allowed in our garden and they came in anyway. They always do. They didn't see your dragon snoozing on the patio. They were rolling around on the grass when he woke up and jumped on them. Tigger got away without any problem, but the dragon managed to grab Maud's tail in his jaws. I saw it all through the French windows. I was banging on the glass trying to make the dragon stop, but he took no notice. Finally, Maud turned round and scratched him on the nose. The dragon wasn't expecting that. He was so surprised he opened his jaws and she was over the fence in seconds. He breathed a great burst of flame after her. Luckily he missed. Unluckily, he got Mum's petunias. Luckily, Mum didn't see what was happening. She was on the phone to the pet shop. She's been ringing everyone she can think of, but no one wants a dragon. Now she's sitting at the kitchen table with her head in her hands. She's run out of people to ring. I haven't told her about the petunias yet, but she's going to see them soon, and then I don't know what will happen. To be honest, Uncle Em, I'm a bit worried about her. I asked about mending the fridge and she said, "What's the point? The dragon will just make another hole in it." I suppose she's right, but even so, it'd be good to have somewhere to keep the milk. Eddie. P.S. You'll be glad to hear Maud is fine. She's still got all her tail. P.P.S. Your dragon has spent the rest of the morning picking fur out of his teeth. He won't be attacking any more cats in a hurry. And there is Mum on the phone to anyone she can think of. So I hope you've enjoyed the first part of that story. We'll have to see tomorrow whether Uncle M actually replies to Eddie. See you tomorrow. Bye.